Hey, what's happening, people? How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Messages in the Madness with yours truly, Vernon Longhorn Davis. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for hanging out. See a couple of y'all out there in the back. Come on in, say hi at least. Hit like, love, share the message if you would. Hey, Miss Coley, good to see you. Always great to see you as well. And that's right. Hiya Madness family. We're just waiting for the rest of the family to get here because you know me, unless I'm having technical difficulty, I am here. So glad to be here. Always glad to be here. That's right. Please like, love, and share the message. And just for you, Coley, tonight's message is going to be called How Much Had to Go Right. Yeah, how much had to go right. And a lot of us don't really realize how much but anyway, we're gonna get into that message in just a second. Getting some folks clicking in here. Hey, Miss Marion, good to see you. Hey, Miss Ethel, good to see you as well. Annette, always great to see you as well. Brother August, great to see you. Hey, Miss Charlotte, good to see you as well. So it's like romper room. I'm just looking into my magic mirror and seeing everybody. But I've had an awesome, fabulous, fantastic week. I hope you guys have too. Well, thank you. I've been trying. I'm just experimenting with a couple things, but did some traveling this week with the day job. Where was I at? I flew from St. Louis to Chicago, Chicago to Syracuse, then Syracuse to Newark, New Jersey. I've never been to Syracuse, and but anyway, so did a little traveling. Hey, baby sis, good to see you. That's right. She says, "Happy Sunday, brother," and Madness family. Roger, what's happening? You and Jaden, good to see you, my friend. Um, right. And how much had to go right? Yep, that's right. All right, thank you. Romper room. Yep, that's right. Looking into my magic mirror. Wait a minute, where is Miss Nanette at? Miss Nanette is not on. I guess she'll pop in any minute now. But hey, tonight, don't forget we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So my hey to my folks over there on LinkedIn and hey to my folks over there, YouTube, my Facebook family, the Madness family. Glad y'all are here. So again, I'm going to introduce myself and good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Messages in the Madness with your host Vernon Longhorn Davis. And tonight is not going to be as long of a message as it was last week. I got a little carried away last week. But tonight we're going to slow things down just enough to actually see something we usually miss. Hey, Miss Nanette, how you doing? Yeah. Let me ask you something. How many things went right for you today that you didn't even notice? Hmm. Think about that for a second. How many things went right for you that you didn't even notice? Not the big stuff, not the milestones. I'm talking about the small things, the things that just worked. They just worked. Your body worked, your mind woke up, your eyes opened, your feet hit the ground, your breath kept going. You didn't schedule none of that. You didn't. You didn't schedule none of that. You didn't control that. It just happened. And most of us move right past it like it didn't matter. We just, okay, it's just how it's supposed to be. So, yeah. Hey, brother Jerry, good to see you there. He says, looking back, there has been an overwhelming amount of good to get me here. That's right. When you get it. But like I say, we look past it like it didn't matter. And that's how we live. We rush past what's working and we sit in what's not. We amplify the things that are not working, but we don't amplify the things that are. We highlight the problems. And as I like to call them, unresolved challenges. I'm not a big fan of that word problem. Like I said, I like unresolved challenges. But we highlight them. We minimize the blessing. We magnify the delay, and we ignore the fact that we're still moving. So, what happened today? I hear you, Roger. Roger says every day I wake up, I'm thankful. I know that's right. August says I got to wake up with very little pain. I love that as well. Ms. Nanette says everything, and I didn't burn the dinner. No, you did not. Thank you very much. And we actually fired up the grill today. Yeah, it was kind of warm here in St. Louis. Um, DC Fluffy says, I woke up, have a roof over my head. My family is safe and doing well. I'll say I've been winning all day. See, I love that. I love clock it, clock it, clock it. That's right. I've watched too much TV. So Jerry says, I was told problems never get solved. We only have situations that come up. That is very true. But Jerry, like I said, it's the reason why I call it unresolved challenges. Okay. So this morning I heard something that made me pause. A news anchor said something simple, not loud, not dramatic, but it stayed with me. It made me reflect, not just on my day, but on my life. So while I was sitting there drinking my coffee, yeah, I had to reflect because what she said wasn't just relevant to me. It's relevant to every single one of us. And the question was this: do you realize how much had to go right for you to be here today? And that's a hell of a question. Hey, daughter, good to see you, Miss Janice. Hey, son. Hey, grandbabies. But that's the question. How much had to go right for you to be here today? And I thought that was rather deep. I thought it was rather profound. I had to think about that for me. I had to sit with it. So let me make this real for you, okay? This past week, like I told you, I was traveling from St. Louis to Syracuse and then on to Newark. It's spring break week. Airports are packed, and on top of that, the TSA is on shutdown. So folks is not showing up because they're not getting paid. People showing up. Not all of them, but some of the TSAs, they're showing up and they're working every day, not getting paid, still doing the job, still dealing with travelers, still keeping everything moving. Hey, daughter, Miss Delaney, good to see you. That is a deep question. Yes, it is. Now, I don't know about you, but that kind of situation is where things can go left real quick. So I'm walking into this already thinking this could go a lot of different ways. I get to the airport in St. Louis and everything moves smooth, no issues, no lines. I get to my gate, get on my flight, and I'm thinking, okay, we might be all right. Then reality showed up. Yeah, what really happened was my flight from St. Louis to Chicago was delayed by an hour and a half. Fortunately, I had enough time to where I was okay for my next flight, my connecting flight. And here's what I noticed about myself in that moment. I stopped thinking about everything that went right. I wasn't thinking about how smooth it had been. I wasn't thinking about how everything lined up before that. I was focused on the delay. I was focused on the issue. I was focused on what went wrong, what didn't happen according to plan, instead of focusing on the positive. And I'm sitting there watching the board, the flight board. I'm watching the time. I'm doing the math in my head, trying to figure out how this is going to affect everything on the other end. I have still got to get to Syracuse, New York. I'm thinking about my connections, my arrival, what might be closed by the time I get there. And if I'm being honest, I could feel that frustration creeping in. It was just creeping on me. But that's what we do. One butterfly wing flaps in the Sahara Desert, and our whole life is upended. So we think. We shift our focus real quick from what's working to what's not. So finally, we board, get in the air. And by the time I land in Syracuse, it's late. Why? Because when I got to Chicago, my flight in Chicago was 2.5 hours late. I mean, late. I get on the plane to Syracuse. I step off the plane, and the first thing I see is snow. Not a little snow either. We talking snow falling like it has something to prove, okay? Like y'all ain't getting the most snow, so I'm gonna give you all I got right now. But that's how it went. Now I'm moving with a purpose because I already know I need to get to that rental car and then get to my rental car and get to my hotel. I get down there and the counter is closed. The rental car counter is closed. Lights off. Nobody's there. I look at the time. It's 1:30 in the morning. I got to be at work at 8 o'clock. I still got to drive a half an hour to my hotel. And I knew when I got on that plane that rental car station closed at midnight. So now I'm standing there after a long day. And after delays, after everything not going the way I planned them. And I'm thinking, all right, what now? What do I do now? Because this is one of those moments where things can go stupid real quick. Not that they weren't already stupid. Now I've got to figure out my next move. Do I wait? Do I call somebody? There's nobody for me to call. Do I try to find another option? The only option I had was Lyft or Uber. And I looked at the app and the ride was going to cost me $100 to go 30 minutes. What does this even look like at 1:30 in the morning in a city I don't live in? Are y'all hearing me tonight? Are you seeing my frustration? Can you feel my frustration? Just imagine putting yourself in my shoes. And I remembered just standing there for a hot second. I was tired. I was hungry. And I was thinking this could turn into something completely bad. And just as I'm standing there, the rental car agent walks up. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, where the hell did she come from? Because she just popped out of nowhere. And she says, I stayed because I knew there were flights coming in late. You could have bought me for a nickel. She stayed. She didn't have to. But she stayed because she knew there were some flights coming in late. She could have gone home. She could have said, this is not my problem. But she stayed. She was a lifesaver, not just for me, but for other people that needed to get their rental cars. And that's when it hit me. Because it would have been real easy for me to focus on the delay, the unresolved challenges, the issues. It would have been real easy to focus on what did not go the way I planned, but look at everything that had to go right. Let me say that again. Look at everything that had to go right for me to still be standing there with a car at 1:30 in the morning. So yeah, I got my rental car and I got to my hotel. They didn't sell my room. I drove in the snow in a city that I'd never been to. Yes, they are still with us. And that's just not travel, people. I use that story, but the truth of it is that's life. That is how life is for real. Yeah, God put her there. I believe God put her there. So now let me take you a step further because this isn't just about one trip. This is a pattern. And it's not just a pattern in my life. It's a pattern in yours. If you really stop and think about the question, how much had to go right in your life for you to be here right now? In over 20 years of traveling, doing comedy, speaking, being on the road, there have been plenty of opportunities for things to go completely ass out. The kind of wrong that leaves you stuck, stranded, trying to figure out how you're going to get home. But when I look back on my life and the things that I've gone through, that's not how my story has gone, except for one time in my life. And if you read my book, then you know that one time I was left in a bus station in Memphis. So I've always, one thing about comedians, we always worry about one thing. If we haven't got in advance, am I going to get paid? Where my money at? Because especially when you early in our careers, usually we're riding on a half a tank of gas and $20 and eating a Lunchable, praying that we're gonna get paid so we can get back home and pay our cell phone bill. But I've been fortunate. I've always been paid. Not everything was perfect. There were one time, I mean, there was this one time where I didn't get exactly what I was supposed to get. I didn't get paid all my money. And that could have been a problem. But in that situation, the promoter recognized this was his fault and he still gave me half my money. And that was enough for me to make sure I got home. But I remember another moment, it was back in November when Will C and I hit a deer. And if you've ever experienced that, you already know that can go a lot of different ways. That can leave you stuck on the side of the road trying to figure this shit out. But in that moment, I was able to call, get a tow truck because I got AAA, and get all the way back home. Look what had to go right in order for me to not be in that situation or to get out of that situation. And when I look at my life, here's what stands out. I've never been without shelter. I've never been without food. I've never been stranded with no way out, at least since I've been an adult. Now, I'm not saying everything was easy. I'm not saying everything went the way I planned, but I am saying this. When things could have gone completely wrong, somehow, some way, they still worked out. And I know we like to say, won't he do it? Yeah, he will do it. But things worked out. And that, my family and friends, speaks volumes. Hold on, let me see what's going on in the chat over here. Hey, my buddy Tommy boy, how you doing? Good to see you from Scotland. Told y'all we international, baby. We international. Brian, hey, Brian Walker, thanks for joining us, man. He says there's been so many situations I've been in where I was like, how did I get here? And there was always a way out. Usually it was someone's kindness. Man, I have been so privy to people being kind to me. It's probably why I'm the way I am today, because somebody looked out for me. People have looked out for me. And I have been so, so, so blessed and thankful. My baby sis says, all that going on and still you rise. I say every morning after I give thanks for seeing another day, everything always works out for me. And I believe it too. You got to have that positive affirmation. Got to put that out in the universe. I'm so glad it all worked out for you, big bro. I'm glad everything worked out for all of us. Hey, daughter. So I got two daughters on the call and my son. Okay, got my family in the building. Sister, wife. I mean, just we got it all. Um, but we don't really stop and think about this, people. We don't stop and think about how much had to go right for you to be here right now. So let me bring this a little closer to home because this isn't about me. It's not. What's my time looking like? Oh, okay. There have been times in your life where you had to ask yourself how you got there. And Brian just shared that. And more importantly, how you got out of that situation. Mm. Because if you're honest, if you're being honest, it wasn't all you, just like Brian just said. Usually it was someone else's kindness. Think about that. Sit with that. There were things that had to happen that you had no control over still working in your favor. There were doors that opened that you didn't knock on. There were resources and opportunities and money that came to you. There were conversations that took place that you weren't in the room for. Your name was spoken somewhere by someone, and they spoke positively of you. In a room that you weren't in, on a phone call that you were not on, in a text message that you didn't even read. And it worked in your favor. No, I didn't eat the deer, James. The tow truck driver wouldn't let me put him on the truck. Did you hear what I said, people? Let me know if you're still with me. There were moments when you didn't have what you needed. And somehow, some way, it showed up. Somebody stepped in. Somebody stepped up. Somebody helped you. Somebody or something made a way for you. Maybe it was a meal when you didn't have a dime in your pocket. I've been there. Maybe it was a ride that you needed to get to work or get to the doctor or to get somewhere important. And somebody just came out of the blue and said, "Hey, can I help you? Can I give you a ride? So I'm going that way. Or maybe I'm going out of my way, but let me help you. Let me give you some bus fare. Let me call you an Uber." Maybe it was an opportunity that you didn't even expect, because somebody spoke your name positively in a room that you were not in, because you did something right a long time ago. Because kindness does pay itself forward. You don't know when you're going to get that blessing or who that blessing is going to come from. But man, what they say, it comes back to you 7 times fold. You're right, Charlotte. We don't always remember to thank the people who are always there for us to have those things happen. You're right. And that's why when somebody does something for me, I thank them 3 times. Because I don't want anybody to think I forgot to thank them. Coley says, still here. Baby sis says, keep on rising and shining. I know that's right. Thank you, Roger. He says, right here, still, brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you, my brother. Annette says, I am having a hard time having my nephew shipping to Iran for nothing. Don't get me started. I try to stay out of politics and that, but we're going to pray for your nephew and for you. I get it. So when you really look back on it, you can't explain all of it, can you? You can't take credit for all of it, because some of it just worked out. Some of it you didn't have nothing to do with how it played out, but you were the recipient. You were the recipient of someone else's goodness or God's goodness. That's real talk. James Wilson August says, and how often have we done for others? Yeah, you're right. Annette, thank you. You says right here because of you. No, you're right there because of you. I just brought some words. You used them. I can't take credit for that. I can smile and be glad that you're still here. Hey, brother Brad, good to see you. He says, thank you, brother. I truly needed this message tonight. We have a big day ahead of us tomorrow that we have no control over. And to me, that is the scariest moment in my life. I have learned during my process, we have left it in the Lord's hands on this one. Yes, Annette, you say she was blessed with wonderful veteran friends. Brad, I'm going to do something that we don't normally do. I'm going to say, Father God, please keep and bless Brad and his family and their situation. Guide them, protect them, keep them, allow them to receive the blessing of good news, and that for everything goes their way tomorrow in whatever the situation may be. In Jesus' name, amen. So, so when I ask you, do you realize how much had to go right for you to be here today, right now with us? I'm not asking you something simple. I'm not. That is if you sit down and you think about it, you be like, damn. Because I was like, damn. I'm asking you to really look at your life. Where you been, what you been through. I remember I was out just fresh out the army. I was hanging out with another guy named Vernon. Called him Chops. And we were somewhere where we probably shouldn't have been. And there was this guy who just did not like me for whatever reason. I don't know why. But he pointed a shotgun at me. And I was sitting in a car with the window down. And he pointed the shotgun at me. And my life flashed before my eyes. And I said, man, if you're going to do it, do it. And he pulled the trigger. And it dry fired. It said click. And when I heard that click and realized what had happened, and before he could chamber another shotgun round, I busted the door open. And so I'm not going to tell you what happened, but let's just say I'm still here. Hey, Jill, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Brad, you're welcome. But imagine what had to go right for me to still be here. Hey, Rita, good to see you. So again, when I ask you, do you realize how much had to go right for you to still be here today? I'm not asking you something simple. I'm asking you to really look at your life and the things that you've been through and what had to happen for you to be here. Because most of us will go through an entire day where everything works and we won't acknowledge any of it. None of it. We just don't. Your heart is beating because everything is working right. We won't acknowledge that everything is right. But let one thing go wrong, and now everything feels off. Now we ready to cuss out everybody, including your mama and the dog. And the dog ain't did shit, but you're ready to cuss him out too. So, here's the truth, people. Some of us have gotten so used to things going right that we've started acting like we own it. And we don't own nothing. We don't own our next breath. Let that sink in. We don't own it. Rita, thank you very much. But nothing about this life is guaranteed. Not your next day, not your next moment, not your next heartbeat. Nothing about you being here is random. You're not random. And here's what I really want you to sit with. There was a version of your life where you don't make it to this moment. Whew. I just told you about having a shotgun dry fire in my face. I've been thrown out of out of moving cars. I jumped out of a moving car. But there was a version of your life where you didn't make it to this moment. One wrong move in the wrong direction, and you weren't here. There were moments where it could have gone a lot different. It could have went a different way. And you wouldn't be here in this moment right now. Looking at me, talking to you. All it took was one wrong move in the wrong direction. Roger says he's going to have Jaden watch this in entirety. He wasn't a planned child, almost shot 2 years ago. I remember that. He's a hero. Now he's saving lives as an EMT, and I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of you too, Roger. Yes, things did go right for Jaden. Hell, I wasn't a planned baby. How many of us were planned baby? A lot of us was oops babies. A lot of us, there's some of us that were Valentine's Day presents. Yeah, just do the math. February, November. Yeah. Oh, you never thought about that? Yeah. Think about them babies. Think about them babies that was born in September. Yeah. Guess what somebody got for Christmas? Anyway, thank you for the compliment on the background. Moments. Just thinking about what we were talking about, going back to what we was talking about. You know, that all it took was just one direction, one wrong move in the wrong direction. And moments where one decision, one delay, one situation could have changed everything. But it didn't. You're here. And you're not a mistake. You're no accident. There was a reason and a purpose for you to be here today. You're still breathing. Your heart is still pumping. You're still standing. And that means something. It does mean something. It means more went right than you realized. It means more lined up in the universe, in your life, in your day than you acknowledged. It means more worked in your favor than you have given credit for. And why won't you give the credit? Yeah, you was a oops baby there, daughter. So don't let the delays make you forget the destination. Don't let what didn't go right blind you to what did. Because if you're here, which I hope you are here, the results already speak for themselves. Spoiler alert, a hell of a lot more went right in your life than you're giving yourself credit for. Because you're here, and you're here with a purpose. And now that you know that, and you ain't got to believe me, but you know it, you don't get to move like it doesn't matter anymore. You don't get to move like that no more. No, you don't. You don't get to waste your time. You don't get to keep putting things off. You don't get to keep shrinking yourself and trying to hide. Because you're bigger than that. You're better than that. You deserve more than that. Because you are still here. And a lot of good things had to happen for you to be here. You don't get to keep acting like your life is something to just get through. You don't. Because being here is not random. You're not a slot machine that somebody just put a coin in, pulled a hand up, and bing, 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 here you were. You were made on purpose. You are here on purpose. And a lot of things had to happen right for you to be here. Being here is not accidental. Being here means something is still in front of you. And think about all that was behind you that pushed you to being here. So I'll leave you with this after I read the comments. Out of everything that could have gone wrong, you could have got hit by a car. You could have had an asteroid fall into your house. You could have ate bad sushi, bad shrimp. You could have slipped and fell in your bathroom at home by yourself, bust your head. I can go down the list, but I won't because I don't dwell in the negative. I dwell in the positive. Out of everything that could have gone wrong, you are still here. And it may not be perfect. It may not be the life that you dreamed of. But you're still here. There may have been delays, and there have been. There may have been moments you didn't understand. I know there's stuff I'm still trying to figure out. But the results still speak for themselves. The results still speak for themselves. Again, the results still speak for themselves. You made it. You're here. And that's the only question left. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? You ain't got to answer me. I'm going to let you figure that one out. But an awful lot had to go right for you to be here. And that's real. That's the message for tonight. Let me look here and see what we got going on in the comments here. Hey, Jill. Jill says, such a great subject. I am so thankful things didn't go the way I planned. God is always looking out for us, and this plan is always better than mine. I know that's right, because as they say, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Laugh in your face. Tommy Boy says, my brother was shot 26 years ago. My brother Ron, our brother, reached out to me and my family. He was like the brother I didn't have. Vernon, God bless him. The memories I had was with Ron for 30 years, one of the best hearts of gold. Yes, he was, and I miss him dearly. I miss him very much, and I'm glad that you had that time with my brother, with our brother. Baby sis replying to Cody says, I'm a September baby too, Miss Coley. That's why I said Christmas gift, because 9 months after the end of December, yep, your parents bought in the new year with a big bang. Yes, they did. Rita says, I had Alexa to remind me every Sunday at 8 o'clock to watch you. Pray for Boston. We're having a lot of, I'm sorry to hear that, Miss Rita. We're praying for you and Boston. Daughter says, took me to get these kids, especially Basil, for me to feel my purpose. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you're here too, daughter. Because see, God knew those kids needed you. Very proud of you. Very proud of you. Coley said, she was replying to Rita. Us two here in the Lou just buried my nephew a couple of days ago. I'm sorry about your nephew, Coley. But again, guys, that's my message for tonight. Roger says, I'm September and Jaden is November. Miss Mary says, I thank Classic Gemini for being a friend of my niece's daughter who passed away last year. Oh, okay. I didn't know y'all knew each other. Okay, small world. So, guys, that's my message for tonight. I'm gonna ask for traveling grace this week. Yeah, I'm gonna ask y'all for traveling grace. If you can do that for me, throw up a prayer, a positive thought, something, but traveling grace for me this week. Okay. All right, guys. So that's the message for tonight. I thank y'all for joining us. This has been another episode of Messages in the Madness with your host, Vernon Longhorn Davis. God bless you. Yeah. God bless and keep you. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Take care of them kids. Respect our vets. And until next Sunday, God bless you. $2.